UK with a case study about the recreational use of Britain's national parks.
Large numbers of people enjoy the attractions of our national parks and rely on them for access to all kinds of outdoor leisure activities. However, this access, which so many people take for granted, is at the centre of a big debate. One side insists that the public have a right to go to different areas in national parks and use them for their outdoor leisure activities. The other side argues that the combined effect of so many people using the parks is damaging the countryside and that access must be controlled. Coming up, 2 clips about the use of national parks. As you watch, make notes on information or facts that will be useful in your exam.
Pay particular attention to the reasons why national parks were set up, where they are located, how the public use them, and the impact of recreational activity on the environment.
Take note of the different interest groups and why they have different views on the way the parks are used.
There's nothing like a good day out. Except another good day out. And another one. And another one. And another one. And another one. Millions of people visit national parks and tourist resorts. But is it a right that everyone should have? Or does tourism need to be controlled? You're going to see some of the what, where, when and whys of tourism and the problems it's causing. At the end of the programme, you're going to have to decide where you stand. Should tourists roam free? Or are they harming the places they go to so much that their numbers must be controlled? What exactly is the problem? So many people are visiting places like national parks that they themselves are destroying the calm and the beauty they came to enjoy. The cars they arrive in cause congestion and pollution, and their feet and wheels are literally destroying the place. There are just too many people for the place to cope with. Where's the problem happening? Well, most tourists go to cities, but cities are places designed for huge numbers of people. It's in the countryside that tourism is the biggest problem, especially in small towns and villages in the national parks. Like bees round a honeypot, tourists zoom in. On Bakewell, Aviemore, Keswick, Ambleside, Malham, Robin Hood's Bay, Betsy Coyd, Grassington, Lyndhurst, Aysgarth, Hawes and Pickering. It's in honeypot towns like these the tourists can outnumber the locals and take over the surrounding countryside as well. When did the problem start? In the 1930s, people started to demand the right to have access to the countryside. National parks were set up at the end of the 1940s to give people who lived in cities a chance to enjoy the countryside.
Ever been to Yorkshire, any of you? Mind you, you want a really good car for Yorkshire, because the hills are something terrific. Get a good car. That's the secret of it.
Pressure really began to rise in the 1970s with more cars around and new motorways bringing people to the parks from further away. By far the worst times are bank holidays and Sundays in spring and summer. That's when the traffic really builds up. The 2 films you are going to see were both shot in the Peak District National Park. The first film argues that people from towns have a right to get out into a national park and use it, as long as they are responsible about it.
I'm from Manchester, just outside Manchester, and it's just a total contrast coming out here into the countryside. It's quiet, you can get out on your own, and it's just so much more beautiful. get away from cities, because city life is very claustrophobic, it's hectic. People need time to just appreciate the countryside and to see what's out here. And if they don't get out here, they're never going to appreciate it, they're never going to have an idea of how to conserve these places that are very special. Well, mountain biking obviously is going to do some damage, but so is walking, so are farm vehicles, so are quarry trucks, and really the solution is not, I don't feel, to ban everybody from going to these places. Everybody's just got to consider each other and the land.
There's a small problem in the peak of actually chipping holds, which is mainly a problem to do with the rock climbers as opposed to anything else, but climbers are pretty conscientious as far as looking after their environment. Everybody accepts that Stanwich is a busy area, and the peak is very busy all over when the weather's good on bank holidays, because it's accessible from London and from like all over.
This series of caves was formed about 111,000 years ago at the end of the Ice Age by huge underground rivers of glacial meltwater. Now, who knows what a glacier is? Yes.
City School's been using Castleton as a fieldwork centre for 3 years. We come once a year for 2 days in the summer. It's very important that we come out into the field. We could do this exercise totally in the classroom, but that would not let some of our children see anything in the way of fieldwork experience. For many of these children, they've never been anywhere, even though this is very close to Sheffield. They've not been out here before, and it's very important that they experience what it's like. In the same way, I feel that they are getting an awareness that they'll be able to bring with them, hopefully, when they visit with friends or relatives in the future.
It's just a total contrast coming out here into the countryside. It's quiet, you can get out on your own, and it's just so much more beautiful.